Hear that? Ah, that, my friend, is the sound of peace and tranquility. Birds calling out to me, the waves gently lapping against the shore. Ah, the good life, my friend. You know, as I look back on my youth, I realize that I've matured. I'm no longer that zealously ambitious young man who craved fortune and the good life. If I'm being totally honest, I was overly preoccupied with acquiring stuff when I was young. Like this guy. Yeah, I wanted a nice car, a house that I could be proud of. I now laugh with embarrassment thinking about this younger version of me who, well, wanted to have it all. Now that I'm older and wiser, I appreciate that what's important in life is not simply acquiring material possessions. My, how shallow that sounds to me now. As I've aged, my values and priorities have evolved. What truly matters in the autumn of my life is the joy of developing meaningful, lasting friendships. I want to meet friends I can talk to openly and be vulnerable with, sharing my deepest, most personal hopes and fears. A sensitive, honest person who will be there for me in good times and bad. And last, but not least, someone who, how can I say this politely, owns a nice boat. Yeah, like this guy. He seems like someone I could be great friends with. I'll explain what I mean on the other side. Welcome back. Young people often talk about having friends with benefits. I'm not sure what that really means, to be honest, but if you ask me, they have it all wrong. It's much better to have friends with boats. Now that I'm retired, it really doesn't matter to me in the least how much stuff I possess, just as long as I have a few close friends with fast-moving watercraft. If they had a 30-foot sailboat, well, I would certainly consider becoming their friend. But I'm really more looking for a friend with a powerboat with at least 350 horsepower. I don't really care if it's a Bayliner, a Sea Ray, or a Chris Craft, just as long as it can reach a top end speed of 70 miles an hour or faster. Are you following me? Recently, I met an amiable fellow. We started to hit it off, and from what I could tell, he seemed like he shared my political beliefs. But sadly, he owned a small dinghy with an underpowered engine, which he mainly used for crabbing. It could barely reach top-end speeds of 10 miles an hour. Can you believe it? Needless to say, that's not what I'm looking for in a friend these days. So, I had no choice but to ghost him. Then there's this guy. I think his name was Nigel or Sebastian, or maybe it was Maximilian. I really can't remember. I briefly thought that I could be close friends with him too, but I was wrong. You see, he's actually a very nice person and very smart and rich. Just one problem. He owns a gorgeous 50-foot sailboat. But I was looking for a friend with a 50-foot powerboat with 350 horsepower outboard dual Mercury engines. I'd settle for Evan Root if push came to shove. Sorry, buddy. It was just never going to work out. Okay, so why this obsession with friends with boats? Well, you see, I live on an island. My wife and I moved here to be near water. Now, you may be asking yourself, hey, Tim, if it's so important, why don't you buy your own boat? What a silly question. Have you seen how much money you have to spend to purchase a high-quality boat these days? Not to mention the ongoing cost of mooring, insuring, and refueling them. I've done some research. I've discovered that boat owners have no lives. That's because they spend all their free time working on their boats just to keep them in functioning condition. Here is just a sampling of the typical tasks they do after every time they take their boat out for a spin. Top off the oil, if needed. Wash the hull and deck, check the engine, battery, propeller, electrical lines, and bilge pump to ensure that all components are working properly. Oh, and don't forget to inspect the engine mount screw clamps, make sure they're secure. Hey, and while you're at it, you might want to take a look at the water intake just to be sure it's not blocked. Oh, and be sure to flush the engine and the propellers to eliminate any salt water or sand or dirt or other debris. Now, I'll skip the other 27 steps you need to do every time you take your boat out because, well, honestly, I almost fell asleep after that last sentence. So no, boat ownership is not for me. Let some other sap pay $100,000 for a 40-foot cruiser. I just want to spend some quality time bonding with them on their 40-foot cruiser, ideally while eating fresh lobster and chowing down on a tasty Havartian Gouda cheese platter and Godiva cream-filled chocolates. Not the dark type, please. No, no dark. I just want to slow down and enjoy the simple pleasures of life, like lying on the bow of a classic twin-hulled catamaran off the coast of Barbados. Heck, I'd even settle for off the coast of Nantucket. I'm not picky. Perhaps you could be that sap. I mean, that fine person. If so, I want you to know that if you feel a need to drone on endlessly about how hard it is staying on top of all the regular maintenance needed to keep your boat in working order, well then, as your new best friend, I'm willing to listen. For a couple minutes, that is. Longer if you have some fresh stone crabs at the ready. Oh, and I'm a size large, in case you need to know my life jacket size for when you take me out water skiing. Yeah. I'm looking for a new friend. I'm not picky. I mean, it's not like the only kind of people I seek out as friends are rich people with yachts that comfortably seat 8. Who do you think I am anyways? No, I'm willing to keep an open mind. I'd even consider starting a friendship with someone who owns only a jet ski, but only if you have 2 of them. I'm not riding tandem behind you like we're a couple. Hey, buddy, I'm willing to be a friend, not your lover. Understand? I'm still looking for that close friend. I know they're out there. Perhaps you could be that special person. If you think you might like to become my friend, just email me a photo of you with your boat. Or, now that I think about it, a photo of just your boat is sufficient, actually. Yeah, that's good enough. But perhaps I'm being a little unreasonable. After all, why should I care whether a person has a boat or not? I mean, that sounds rather superficial, doesn't it? Okay, on further reflection, I don't really care whether or not you have a nice boat. I'm more than willing to make friends with non-boat owners too, assuming they have their own private plane, that is. Yeah, doesn't he look like a nice guy? I think he has kind eyes. And probably an impressive car collection. That's the view from the Bleachers. Please click on the subscribe button below and share this video with your friends or anyone you'd like to annoy. And for more of my humor, visit my website, viewfromthebleachers.net. Well, I must be going. I'm heading to the Seattle Boat Show. I can't wait to check out their collection of incredible yachts. Something tells me I just might make a few very special friendships before the day is over. Cheers.